At first, she's similar to the Hulk in that it's a second kind of personality. Gone off to do something. So Kane decides to become another Scarlet Spider, and he lives in... Hi, I'm Glenn Simpson, and I've collected comics for over 40 years, and I'm showing off my collection one box at a time. Today we're looking at box number 128. We're going to start with Salvation Run. We're going to do some Sandman, some Savage Hawkman, some Savage this, Savage that. We're going to do some Scarlet stuff, Scarlet Spider, Scarlet Witch, and finally get into some secret stuff, including Secret Avengers. So it's going to be a good time. So glad you're here. Please like and comment and subscribe. It's going to be a good time. Let's get going here on Glenn Simpson's Comics. All right, we pick up here with Salvation Run. This series has seen a little bit of movement lately. So the idea here is that an entity has, I can't remember if it's the government or the superheroes or somebody, has found this planet, and they basically, it's uninhabited, or so it seems, but it seems like a good place to just chunk all the supervillains. So the supervillains get chunked over there, and instead of being kept in an Earth prison, and then the villains have to find a way to survive or get back home because it's not as safe as it first seemed, and of course there's infighting and things like that. But the end of the most recent season of Peacemaker indicated something similar going on, something codenamed Salvation. So that's there's a little bit of movement on it. Nothing has gone up past $15 that I'm aware of, but issue 1 there through issue 7, Lex Luthor right there. Wait, Sturgis? Oh my gosh. So Willingham started it. Ooh, that's never a good sign. And Sturgis finished it. So when the writer of a miniseries changes midway. Whew. Sam Wilson, Captain America. So back in the Captain America video, I commented that it jumps around so much, and this doesn't help. The other thing is, a lot of times series will say like Sam Wilson, Captain America on the cover, but the actual title is Captain America Sam Wilson. But this one is actually in the fine print, Sam Wilson, Captain America. And this is obviously designed to, catch those people who are coming out of the Captain America movie with Red Hulk and get their attention. So issue 1 through issue 5, a little Storm action. Then we get to Sandman. So Sandman, award-winning author, comes to comics, he did comics first and then became an award-winning author. Creates the Sandman. So the original Sandman was just your standard, your basic 1940s superhero. And then in the late 60s, Jack Kirby creates another Sandman. Then Neil Gaiman comes to DC and creates his own Sandman, which is a sort of a godlike master of dreams, and the character becomes incredibly popular, leads on to creating the Vertigo line of comics, which are all the more adult, darkish kind of storytelling. It went on to have its own 2 or 3 season series on streaming. Neil Gaiman in recent days has found himself in a little hot water with some accusations, but so he's a little out of vogue right now. But I was never a big Sandman fan, but I did pick up a couple of things, a few issues, and some trades. And as I mentioned, I've mentioned before, my bookshelf, actual bookshelf, got a little full, so I moved, some trades into the boxes. Basically, if it's a trade that reprints nothing but individual issues from one series, where I also have individual issues from the series, it made its way in here. So, Preludes and Nocturnes is the first trade, Volume 1. Does it tell us, remind us which ones are in? It includes, it does not in any handy, quick to see way, but the first few issues, Preludes and Nocturnes. Then, I have book 2, there, Dream Country. Wait, is it 2? Yeah, I think it's 2. There. So then we get to some individuals issues. So I kind of jump all the way to 40. There. Things picked up in dollar books, or somebody gave me a handful of comics or whatever, and it had it in there. Issue 40. I actually just recently, because it seems like I have every other issue or every third or fourth issue here for a bit. So I did just make sure that the issues in between are on my want list, so I can at least close this up. So because 42. There. 46. There. 49. $51. Oh, oops. Okay. Not that big a deal, but they've got a little out of order. 23. Gotta fix that. This is a $1 Comics reprint of that issue. Take a moment. There we go. Issue 53. Through 56. So that's what I'm kind of trying to do, is at least get little chunks. Uh, 58. And 59. $61. Couldn't tell you what's going on in all this stuff. I'm sure there is somebody who read it when they were back in the day, and it consumed their life, and they absorbed every page, and they would be screaming at the screen, going, "No, that's when Sandman did this." 74 through 75. I did enjoy the TV series. Interestingly, how they were able to take what would be issues in our mundane lives and apply them to these, characters that don't necessarily live our mundane lives. Okay, so anyway, then that's all I got on that. So then, Sandman Mystery Theater was a kind of a spin-off, a tonal spin-off. It involves the original 1940s Sandman, and tells some original stories of him. He was inspired in his dreams by the Morpheus, by the Neil Gaiman Sandman, and so these are all stories that take place in the 1940s. This first arc, I think it was the first arc, maybe the second one, had a little controversy because It had a lot of Asian people in it, and they were colored just straight up yellow the whole time. I think it was more of a palette issue with the printing process, but the other thing that struck me at the time was, of course, all of those 1940s heroes, like a lot of comic book superheroes, are all drawn, as, tall, muscular guys, and this artist did not necessarily have a style that required that. He kind of draws him as somebody that needs a gas gun to win a fight. So, just kind of an interesting thing. Seeing the idea that this guy was going to go on and wear the purple and yellow tights that the comic book version would eventually go on to do, he was going to need to hit the gym. I'm just saying. But that's issue 1 through issue 8. I didn't get all of these because, it just was a little too atmospheric for me, a little too far outside of the superhero norm. I wanted to like it because I like the JSA and all that. And speaking of which, so issue 29 was the Hourman teaming up with a gritty, realistic version of Hourman, if you will, through 32. I believe the Hourman kind of gives him the idea of how to be that kind of superhero. 37, The Mist, through 40. I think at one point I was like, well, let me make sure I at least have all 4 parts of anything that I have. Alright, so then we move on to Savage Avengers. So, here's the thing. Marvel sometimes has the license for Conan the Barbarian, and sometimes they don't. But when they do, they try to use him. And earlier in this decade, they tried to. They used him in the Avengers, and there was like an actual Avengers team, Savage Avengers. This one, I can't remember if this is a reprint of some stuff or just a prelude. But yeah, this is the issue 0 for the Savage Avengers storyline. So with that, let's see. This is the first issue. So we've got Wolverine and Elektra and Punisher and Brother Voodoo and Conan and Venom. They're the Savage Avengers. Issue 1. And they fight the Hand and ninjas and stuff. And somebody's hands, Conan, discovering automatic weapons. Issue 44. Issue 5. There. Some David Finch art throughout. Issue 8. So, one thing this does, by throwing him more, into the present of the Marvel Universe, is you kind of get his unique perspective on things. So he goes to Latveria, and I think has no problem with Doom. He's like, well, you're running your country. That's what you do. Conan being all true neutral stuff. Issue 9. But if there's anything Conan doesn't like, it's a wizard, and he has to frequently fight Kulan Gath. There. Uh-oh. Squiddly things have gotten our heroes. I forgot forget the name, Homa Gorath or something. Issue 13, Black Widow, Son of Satan, all the edgy, savagey heroes, through 20. So there was an interesting thing. Kulan Goth appeared in a Marvel team-up issue as the villain, and Spider-Man teamed up with Red Sonja, which was actually sort of the spirit of Red Sonja that took over Mary Jane's body. And they defeated Kulan Goth and stuff. So then later they brought him back in an arc in X-Men, and you find a point where Spider-Man is strung up and being tortured, and it's like, oh yeah, okay, good throwback. You know, he remembers that, you know, the first thing he did when he came back was hunt down this Spider-Man guy that had beaten him. So I'm sure this is tied in with that as well. Uh, 21 with Ghost Rider. 24, more Kulan Goth fighting. I'm pretty sure they lose because 25. There you go. But by 28, things are A-okay. There. Somebody get that man a shirt. It's freezing out there. Speaking of getting that man a shirt, Savage Avengers Annual, number 1. More Son of Satan. So then we have another Savage Avengers. This time Conan recruits still Elektra, but now she's Daredevil, Black Knight, Anti-Venom, Cloak and Dagger, Wolverine, and Deathlock for a time travel adventure, which I think they needed to throw some time travel in there to get Conan back to where he needed to be. Issue 1 through issue 10. Got Punisher 2099 joining up at some point. Alright, then we get one of these. I've mentioned this before. The black and white one-shots. Savage Acts of Ares. Ares is usually a bad guy in Marvel Comics, but for a while there, he had taken a good. He was a goodie, as they say. Kind of a throwback, but overall, this is one of several issues like the Indomitable Iron Man and the Savage Wolverine, or not Savage, Rampaging Wolverine. It's just some black and white new stories of the character. Don't know what the theme is or what the point is there, but they did them every once in a while. Got a couple of issues of Savage Dragon, your Eric Larson Image book. Issue 1 right there. Issue 13 right there. Jim Lee cover on that. Then we get to Savage Hawkman. In the New 52, Hawkman gets a new book and called The Savage Hawkman, and he has adventures. He's in the Justice League and some things like that. Justice League of America, I believe. And he's savage and he's angry. And of course, like all the books in the New 52, after the first year or so, as they survived that long, they got an issue 0, which is what we're looking at here. Joe Bennett on art, Rob Liefeld writing. But it starts off with just Tony Daniel. Tony Daniel being mainly known for his drawing, but he is doing some writing here. And Hawkman has adventures, and he's a little different. It's issue 4, and so I have a headcanon here. Issue 5. So for those of you who are up on your Hawkman, Hawkwoman twisted continuity, issue 12, Rob Liefeld officially comes on. Oh my gosh, the killer known as Pike. Who does that look like? Rob Liefeld doing the covers. Because this guy, I mean, once we get past the New 52, we get into Rebirth. It's like with this Savage Hawkman, we never see him again. This sort of version. So here's my thought. In the same way that Kendra Saunders wasn't really the reincarnation of Shiera, that there's some guy, and he had some sort of similar experience to Shiera. Here's issue 13 with Hawkwoman. But the guy had some serious, near-death experience. And so the spirit of Qatar, or whatever, tried to take him over. And it did. And unlike Shiera, who just kind of got that light dose of Shiera, this guy got a heavy dose. Thought his name was Carter Hall. Thought he was Carter Hall. But he wasn't a true reincarnation through issue 20. Final issue. And so he thought he was, everybody else thought he was, but he really wasn't. And there's a one-shot called The Death of Hawkman, and that is the death, or I'm sorry, miniseries of The Death of Hawkman, and that is the death of that guy. And meanwhile, the real Carter Hall Hawkman was on vacation, didn't know what was going on, and he returned sometime after that. That's just a headcanon. But anyway, issue 20, Tom DeFalco writing. And we have just a one-shot Savage Hulk, Simon Bisley, Adam Kubert, there, Marvel Edge. And another Savage Hulk miniseries. So speaking of theories, here's the publishing theory I think we have with the Hulk. Is during those periods of time when the Hulk has his own, he's walking around speaking eloquently or whatever. He's not the traditional Hulk smash. That we'll call him Hulk. Let's call it that Hulk smart. Which there are various versions of, that somebody at Marvel decides, we need to at least put out something for a little while that is Hulk Smash, just to remind people of Hulk Smash. There's currently, as of recording, there's Hulk Smash Everything, I think it's called, and I think that's what they're doing, is, we've got this sort of Infernal Hulk storyline going on, which is not Hulk Smash. And so, yeah, they're just putting something out that kind of reminds people of that version of the Hulk. Just so we always have that out there as well. So anyway, that's a theory. Anyway, issue 1 through issue 6 of Savage Hulk. Then we have Savage She-Hulk from the 1970s. Somebody realized we need a spin-off of the Hulk. Stan Lee writes this origin issue, And Jen Walters is the cousin of Bruce Banner. She's in an accident. Bruce gives her a blood transfusion to save her life, and the result of that is that she turns into a female Hulk. At first, she's similar to the Hulk in that it's a second kind of personality, and her version of the purple pants is the white dress, but that would be the case here in her own series for a while. Then when the series ends and she's brought back later in Avengers, I think is the first place we see her. We see her as an individual who has she's integrated herself, and that's the version that's pretty much been the norm ever since. And of course, she would venture into being more of a comedy character, fourth wall breaking. She was breaking the fourth wall before Deadpool was, and of course, she had her one season TV show on Disney Plus, which I didn't hate. I thought it was a fun little romp. But here is where it all starts. And there was some kind of one of those stories where, like with Spider-Woman, somebody was going to make a Spider-Woman cartoon, so Marvel created their Spider-Woman really quick, so that the other entity, couldn't use the name Spider-Woman. There was something like that going on here, but I don't remember the details. Why they kind of said, "Oop, we got to do She-Hulk." So maybe somebody was going to do a She-Hulk. I don't know, but that's issue 1. There. Issue 2. There. Through 4. This is one of my earliest books, and judging by the spine ticks, I'm pretty sure this is my original copy. Issue 5 is, for some reason, a big deal lately. People are paying some money for it. Issue 6, facing Iron Man. Issue 8, Michael Golden cover, facing the Man-Thing. She-Hulk versus Man-Thing. Issue 9. Again, that more dual personality thing going on. I guess it's good that they did integrate that, because, later on they would establish that Bruce Banner's dual personality thing wasn't due to the gamma radiation, that he had DID. Issue 9. Al Milgrom cover on issue 12. Gemini, we're not even important enough to get an entry in the official handbook of the Marvel Universe. Issue 13. Facing Man-Wolf. I think this was an attempt to resolve some of because Man-Wolf is John Jameson, son of J. Jonah Jameson, who was an astronaut, went to the moon, found a shiny stone. He brought it back with him, and it embedded himself in his chest, and he became a white werewolf when the moon struck. And then he goes off to some dimension or something, and he gets he's able to use his mind, and he kind of becomes a sword and sorcery guy there. And that had run 2 or 3 issues in some anthology. I think this was maybe resolving some of that, where after it got canceled. Issue 13 through issue 16. And issue 17, facing the man elephant, because that's the one animal we haven't, you know, created a Marvel villain around. Through issue 19. Issue 20. Again, not sure. Not really a key. People paying a little more for issue 20. There. 21. I think there was something going on here where there was one guy who, kind of like Dial H for Hero, one guy would turn into various different supervillains, so it wasn't that she was fighting a bunch of different supervillains, it was all the same guy. Radius. 22. 23. Versus that guy. Again, people are paying a little more for this one. $24 versus the Christmas Tree Man. I don't know what I can't remember what his name was. And 25. The end of the She-Hulk, but not really, because she would go on to be in Avengers and Fantastic Four and all kinds of places, as previously mentioned. Then we have Savage Spider-Man, which I believe was it's the, I don't believe, I know it is continuation of Non-Stop Spider-Man. In fact, that's, you can kind of, that's what's supposed to be behind there. At the end of Non-Stop Spider-Man, he got kind of transformed into a spider monster. And so we pick up where that left off here in Savage Spider-Man issue 1 through issue 5, the Non-Stop Saga conclusion. I believe the Non-Stop idea was we're not going to have a lot of plot, not a lot of we're just gonna, well, not there's not a lot of plot. It's just a lot of action, just boom, 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 not taking any quiet moments, which, of course, nowadays, that's pretty normal. So I don't know that that was as groundbreaking as they wanted it to be. We got Savage Wolverine, because what the world needs is more Wolverine books. But hey, as long as they're drawn by Frank Cho, can't complain. Issue 1, right there. We have no girl to put on the cover. Well, let's just put this. Have Frank Cho draw a girl in a bikini right there. Okay, cool. Issue 1. I don't think he's drawing the interiors either. It's Sam Keith, maybe. Issue 1. By issue 8, we're at Madura. Some long claws. Elektra. Issue 9. So basically kind of a Legends of the Dark Knight for Wolverine, just telling various stories set in various periods. Issue 9 through 16. Richard Isanove, who so he writes, draws, colors, letters, everything. He's getting all the money. Continuing in 17. I think he's basically known for being a letterer. So kind of a step up to be doing everything. Through 23. Then we go to Scarab. Scarab is a 1940s hero created in the 1993 that was sort of retroactively inserted into the 1940s DC stuff. And it's a Vertigo book, so it's got that tone. Didn't really appeal to me. We would see the character used in a more traditional setting in some early issues of, I think, JSA, when they're first forming, and that kind of thing. So that's issue 2 of that. I probably should try to get all of them. I didn't find it an entertaining read, so I don't know if I want to do that or not. Got to draw the line somewhere, man. Scarecrow, one shot. New Year's Evil, 5th week type event. Villains getting one shots. Scarecrow. Then Scare Tactics. 4 kids, each of whom have some sort of, monstrous mutation of sorts from various reasons. Form friendship and form a band and head on the road to rock it out. And while dealing with menaces and threats from their own backgrounds and things like that. So that's issue 1. Through issue 6. The werewolf guy. I wonder who won the page of original Scare Tactics art. During this whole thing, there would be a series of one-shots where various regular DC heroes like Robin and Superboy and Catwoman would team up with a member of Scare Tactics to try to pump up the book. So a lot of marketing going on, trying to push Scare Tactics. Got issue 7. Watch while you grab her. There. Through issue 12, the blobby guitar guy gets cured. There you go. Unfortunately, all that big promotion didn't seem to make a difference, and it ended with issue 12. So, next we have Scarlet Spider. So, 1970s storyline. Peter Parker, Spider-Man, gets cloned. The clone and Spider-Man fight it out. The clone dies. Clone is destroyed. Flash forward years later to the 90s. The clone didn't die, and they have this whole storyline where the question is, was it maybe was the clone, what we thought was the clone, was that really the original Spider-Man? And was the one that survived the battle, was that the clone? Meanwhile, so somewhere in the middle of all that, the clone becomes Scarlet Spider, because, he's got the powers and stuff. And he is going to kind of take over for a couple of months the Spider-Man books. And so each of the regular books had a took a break and had a corresponding Scarlet Spider book. So the adjectiveless Spider-Man got replaced with adjectiveless Scarlet Spider for a couple of months. And so we have issue 1 there, and issue 2. And there were like crossovers or storylines running through it. So Cyber War Part 3. So some of the other books had Cyber Wars 1 and 2, that kind of thing. Jumping forward, so within all that spider clone stuff, there was a third clone. There were lots of clones. One of them was named Kane. He had mutated. He was big. He was ugly. He had scars all over his face. Somewhere along the line, he kind of gets cured a little, and he becomes just more of a normal Peter Parker clone. So he decides to go off. Ben Reilly had the second clone, the one from the previous series, had I don't know, gone off to do something. So Kane decides to become another Scarlet Spider, and he lives in Houston, Texas, or Dallas, Texas, one or the other, which was kind of cool. So at least getting them out of New York. So issue 1 of the Kane Riley. What do we do? Kane Parker. I think it may have been Kane Parker. Can't remember what he went with. Issue 1 through issue 4. Ryan Stegman, who's going on to do a lot of regular Spider-Man. Issue 5. Through issue 8. So these are the Texas Rangers supergroup, which is a kind of a bad name for a group since the Texas Rangers is also a entity. Maybe in the Marvel universe you don't really have Texas Rangers anymore, so the name was freed up. Various characters who had previously been established as living in the southwest, partnering up as a team, and since he's again in Texas now, they got to track him down and figure out what his deal is. Heroes have to fight heroes until they figure out they all share a common enemy and team up. Or do they? Maybe they don't. Issue 9. Part of the deal here was he's, of course, the gritty Spider-Man, all the power, none of the responsibility. Issue 9. Through 12, and then 12.1 is a, they call it a 0.1. It's $1 cheaper, and it was just kind of an impulse buy, you know, giving people an opportunity to just test out series that they didn't normally buy. There. Usually I have them broken out, but I just threw that one in there. Issue 13 versus the Lobo brothers, who are these gangster types who actually are werewolves. Issue 13 through 16. Ryan Stegman recreating another Spider-Man cover he'd done, but this time with Scarlet Spider. 17. Wolverine going up against a glowy, armored Scarlet Spider. Issue 20. So right around this period, Dr. Octopus is able to transfer his mind into the body of Peter Parker and becomes the superior Spider-Man. Of course, he's not letting on to Kane, Spider-Man, Scarlet Spider that that's the case, but Kane is like, what's the deal, dude? You're acting a little funny. That sort of thing. Sibling rivalry. This probably is a crossover with the Superior Spider-Man book. Then we have the return of Ben Reilly as Scarlet Spider. So we've got Scarlet Spider versus Scarlet Spider action going on. All the Scarlet Spiders. She's 21. And then that series ends with issue 25. I think Ben's still around somewhere. He's not dead. So, as I mentioned, back when Ben Reilly originally became Scarlet Spider, all of the regular Spider-Man books took a break for a couple of months, and we had Scarlet Spider books. One of those books would have been Spider-Man Unlimited. So we have this one issue of Spider-Man. There was only one done. Not that I'd only have one, but one issue was published of Scarlet Spider Unlimited. And hey, look, there's Kane. We were just talking about Kane. There you go. So from Scarlet Spider, we go to Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch had a couple of earlier mini-series, limited series with her husband at the time, Vision, that were called Vision and the Scarlet Witch. We'll see those later. This is her first solo. This is kind of during the Force Works time frame. The Avengers are... she's not in the Avengers. She's in Force Works with Iron Man and some other people. Issue 1 through issue 4. There. So her next solo series would be written by James Robinson. And I had 2 or 3 issues of that, but then they got really pricey. I guess around the time of the TV show, of the movies and stuff. Or the Agatha series. So yeah, I think that's it. The Agatha series TV show. So I'm like, well, I'm not paying this much money for them. So I got the trade paperback, but then once I had the trade paperback, which included the first 2 or 3 issues, I kind of put the first 3 issues in my duplicates box. So don't have those to show. Give me a comment if you really want to see them. But the next series is, more recent. They've been kind of rotating through. There'll be Scarlet Witch, and then they'll do something a little different than Scarlet Witch, and then something a little different. So issue 1 right there, the more recent Scarlet Witch series. She's set up shop in a small town. She's got a door that people who are in trouble, they go through a door on their side and find them, and that it opens up in her shop where she can help them. Issue 1 through issue 5. Now this is Hippolyta, who of course is the loving, giving, sweet, nice, queenly Amazon, Queen of the Amazons, mother of Wonder Woman over in the DC universe. But of course she is truly a mythological figure that predates DC, so much like Thor, Marvel can use her and do something completely different, and she's a bit more of a bloodthirsty warrior here. She is has shown up to get somebody. I believe it's is it Darcy or Zelda? Zelda is still hanging. I get those 2 characters mixed up. I think Zelda is still showing up is still hanging out with Doctor Strange. Darcy, which is the Thor movie character, has come to work for Scarlet Witch, but Darcy had a curse or something on her, and Hippolyta had come to rescue her. Hippolyta had come to knock her out because something about the curse was bad, and she needed to die to get rid of the curse. Whatever. Scarlet Witch 6, hanging out with her son and his boyfriend. Right there. Through issue 10, the Hex. What's it called? Hex Breaker or something like that. Like a villain specifically designed to take out the Scarlet Witch. There's some good fighting going on, some magicking going on there. Then we have Scarlet Witch Annual, which has this. This is a George Perez variant. This is a sketch that Perez did before his death. And the Marvel did this whole month where they got people, I guess, to mail back in the sketches. I'm not sure how they made that happen, but retrieved sketches that Perez had done in the past and did a series of one shot of variant covers from those. So then I think there was like a Quicksilver in the Scarlet Witch, or Vision in the Scarlet Witch series or something, maybe. and then that one ended, and then we jump back to Scarlet Witch. So Steve's still Steve Orlando doing writing and stuff. So issue 1 of this series through issue 5 with Daredevil teaming up. Issue 6. We've got this variant edition with Amaranth, who's kind of a young girl who comes for help, to get help from the Scarlet Witch, and she becomes kind of a sidekick, and then she goes on to appear in other places. And I don't know if she's one of those. There were some that were created, some of these characters were created, and they originally only appeared on a variant cover, just like a made-up one-time thing, but then in the New Champions book, they actually turned them into real characters. I'm not sure if she was one of those, or if she was just genuinely really created for this book, but that's issue 6 through issue 10. Right there. So then that series ends. Okay, sorry. In between there, I think, we had Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. We've got this variant edition, which I don't remember ordering this particular cover, but okay. I guess they did a whole line of these emblem covers. Kind of boring. If I'd realized it was going to look like this, I wouldn't have gotten it. Issue 1 through issue 4. This is the A cover. 60 years of the Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. There. So this kind of goes in between those two, I think. But again, there's another Vision and Scarlet Witch series in that whole process as well. So anyway, then we move on to Scratch, about a young werewolf who stalks the DC universe. Sam Keith doing writing and art. I mean, you know, it depends on if that's what you want in your Batman. Issue 1, but I did finish out the run. Issue 5 there. Then we have Seaguy, which is a from Vertigo, Grant Morrison, Cameron Stewart, kind of a adventurer, absurdity, has a floating shark sidekick that smokes a cigar. He has adventures. I goofed up a little on trying to get the full series here because there's 2 runs. There's a 2 mini-series. So this is issue 1 of Plain Seaguy. Right there. And then we have issues 2 and 3 of Seaguy, Slaves of Mickey I. So I'm working on fix all that. Issue 2 and issue 3. Then we have from the dollar box, The Second Life of Dr. Mirage. From Valiant, Dr. Mirage was a character that had appeared in like old Gold Key type comics, and Valiant got the rights to use them, but he didn't, his title wasn't just Dr. Mirage, it was The Second Life of Dr. Mirage. Just just got to grab the first issue of that at some point. Then we get to Secret Avengers. So Steve Rogers, during that, he had lost the juice of the super soldier serum, and had aged to the age he ought to be, but he didn't die. But which that's a bit of lore that's going to age poorly, no pun intended, over time. But anyway, we can say it didn't age him completely down. But anyway. But then, so he turns the shield over to Sam Wilson. Sam Wilson becomes Captain America. But then he gets rejuvenated, so he becomes Steve Rogers, Super Soldier. And then there comes a day when he needs to run some secret missions. And the Avengers would not be appropriate for, so he recruits this team of secret Avengers, and the membership will rotate based on what he needs to do, what's needed. So issue 1 right here, including Moon Knight, Valkyrie, Black Widow. By issue 8, we still got Beast, some other people there. Ed Brubaker doing the writing here. Shang-Chi joining up. Mike Deodato on art. Issue 12. Cap with his not wings sticking out helmet there. 12.1, similar to what we discussed earlier, kind of a one-shot sampler, $1 cheaper for people who were interested in Secret Avengers but had never given it a try. Secret Avengers Fear Itself, issue 13. One of the elder Asgardian gods comes to Earth and starts mucking around. Issue 13. Issue 20. With this, drawing a blank, John Cassidy, Black Widow cover. That's the original. That's not a variant though. That's the main cover. Big gun. No, you didn't test us out enough before. Here's another 0.1 issue. Because now we've got Hawkeye. Come on, try us out. New writer, Rick Remender, Patrick Zurcher. Real 21. John Cassidy cover. Still got Moon Knight. Oh, wait. Warren Ellis. Writing. Stuart Immonen. Art. Cool. 21. Oh, okay. Remender must have started up with like 22. Issue 28. A versus X. Avengers versus X-Men. The Phoenix Force is coming back to Earth, and the Avengers and the X-Men have differing opinions on what we should do about that. Alan Davis, looks like, on cover. Thor, Ms. Marvel. She's not yet Captain Marvel. She's still Ms. Marvel. Seems like that's always been the case. 29. Get some Arthur Adams cover on there. Captain Britain joining an Avengers team for the first time. Agent Venom. Flash Thompson. Black Widow leading the charge. I like Valkyrie. Just cool. Anyway. Through 37. Final issue. Hawkeye not looking real good. So we will have more Secret Avengers, in, I believe, the next box. But for here, today, this is all for this box. Okay, so that was 128. Next time we are going to do box number 129. It's all secret all the time. It's going to be Secret Avengers, some more Secret Avengers, Secret Defenders, Secret Origins, Secret Invasion, Secret Six, and end up with some Secret Society of Supervillains. So it's going to be a great time. Hope to see you then. Thanks for being here for this one. And hey, have a great day.